This is the iPhone 13 Pro, the best of Apple's smartphone lineup, and to be honest, it's actually really hard to evaluate a really good product, and 13 Pro is definitely one in that list. But does that mean it doesn't have cons? Or is it all great? No, it's not. Okay, so let's start this long-term review with cons section directly, shall we? First of all, even though this still is not the maxed out version of current Apple lineup, which is the iPhone 13 Pro Max, this Pro version itself is still big and chunky. It weighs in 204 grams and on paper, it doesn't feel much, but using it for longer instances would definitely show up that weight. Now the design. Actually, the 13 Pro design is great, but this camera bump is so huge that it collects a lot of dust. It may sound silly, but if you use it, you would know it. Okay, moving front, this notch, it definitely is one of Apple's differentiator, right? I mean, no other companies have a notch now. So it is something that screams out in public, hey, I'm an iPhone, look at me. Personally speaking, I don't have an issue with this notch except while watching content. It's like you open up a video on YouTube, pinch for full screen, and you suddenly realize that there is a big notch your way and you pinch it back. It happens so often. And finally, the cinematic mode. It is entry level. It looks more like a portrait video with rack focus feature, but it just does not work a lot of times, and I don't think you could use this to shoot something professional, at least at this point in time. Okay, enough about the cons, now let's move on to the pros section. First of all, the 13 Pro is the first phone to come with a 120Hz refresh rate and it's super fluid. Generally, iPhones feel really snappy and this edition takes it to the next level. Okay, but do you need it? It's a little complex to answer. If you are coming from Android which already has a 90Hz or 120Hz refresh rate, then it would just be normal for you. But if you are coming from an older iPhone or any Android that refreshes at 60Hz, you would feel that shift in smoothness. You will enjoy it for sure. Also, this display is one of the best displays available in the market, period. It looks great and gets plenty bright. Now when it comes to the design, I had some issues with it which I already mentioned, but apart from all of that, this is definitely one of my favorite smartphone designs. Not just because it looks great and all, but it's very distinguishable. It's so Apple. Unlike other companies who release a lot of models at different price points and different designs, Apple releases very few models a year and tries to keep the design as near as possible to the old ones. This definitely makes Apple recognizable. It separates itself from the bunch. Also, while speaking about the display, I wanted to talk about the speakers. This is one good quality stereo setup and surround effect is very noticeable with high quality YouTube videos or Netflix. Okay, now let's talk about the cameras. iPhone 13 Pro has some of the industry level cameras. It is high quality. The pictures are very detailed and it has that natural image processing which I find so fascinating compared to the saturated images produced by Samsung or Realme. But this time around, Apple actually wanted to attract the customers who love that saturated look, and they introduced photographic styles. This is similar to applying filters, but Apple says it is not a filter as it changes the way images were taken. But in my opinion, without going much technical, these filters in iPhone 13 Pro were so subtle. It is not as aggressive as you see in some Android phones. Sometimes you may have to take multiple photos just to find the difference between them. And now talking about videos, iPhones are always good at it and it's the same case scenario here. Now let's move on to the final aspect, battery. Okay, let me tell you, the battery life on iPhone 13 Pro is incredible. It can easily last you a day and a half, even if you are a very heavy user. I mean, iPhones are always criticized for having bad battery, but it's such an improvement and it's too good. So that's pretty much summarizes my long-term review of iPhone 13 Pro. Hope you guys found some value out of it, and if you did, smash that like button and I hope to see you in my next video.